Well, howdy there, you brilliant spuds, and welcome back to A Potato's Eye, the only podcast hosted by, well, an actual potato. I am your sprouting host, reporting live from the back of the pantry, where it's always cool, dark, and full of everybody's opinions. Today, I want to discuss the energy portion of my intro. If this is the first time you're seeing me, welcome to my channel. Today, I want to talk about wind turbines, the making of them, touch a little bit about the operation and the recycling portion of them. It'll be quick, but basically what I want to discuss is the rising concern for the blade failures that we've been seeing in the recent years. So with the NIH website stating there's approximately 700,000 blades in operation globally, and there are approximately 3,800 failures per year, that sits about 0.54%, so not very much. However, when you're talking about a wind turbine blade, they stand at about 100 and something meters long. For example, there was a turbine blade that failed on Martha's Vineyards Beach, about 22 miles off the coast there. That blade particularly was 107 meters long. Now, only a portion of it went into the ocean, but a good portion of it washed up onto Martha's Vineyards Beach. That took out the tourist ability for a couple of days, if not weeks. I'm not completely sure what their downtime was, but I know that they spent weeks cleaning up fiberglass fibers. After they cleaned up the bigger portion of it, it took weeks, if not months, to clean up the fibers off there. Now, is that going to be healthy in the waterways? When you're talking about fiberglass fibers in the air, I don't know about you guys, but I'm personally a contractor, so I've dealt with fiberglass insulation, and I don't care for it on my skin. I can't even imagine when it builds to the point of irritation in the lungs. So going further on the NIH website, it states that between the years of 2021 and 2025, there were estimated of 8,000 blades per year removed from turbines in the United States alone. Again, that's 100 meters plus or minus, depending upon the size of the turbine that is being removed. Now, what's happening with those blades? Because again, they're fiberglass, composite resin, or carbon fiber and composite resin. Some of them even utilize a balsa wood laminate. Now, we're talking about cutting down thousands of trees to create wind turbines. Again, is that eco-friendly? Is that the way we should be going about processing these out? Some people probably still believe that the turbine blades are made out of aluminum or titanium or something like that. I'm not completely sure. That's why I'm trying to raise awareness for it and ask as many questions as I can so that I can understand as best as I can as well. So with a turbine, I'm starting to see it as kind of like the scarecrow of the future. Tall, skinny, and standing in the field scaring the crows by lopping the eagles out of the sky, making sure the crows have nothing to do with them. And I guess they kind of throw the energy around down toward the lower people every once in a while. So pretty neat when it comes to that. When the wind blows, they work, right? But again, they're plastic, essentially. And for a very long time, we've been told that plastics are not our friend. In fact, some areas have gone to the point where they've banned plastic straws, making you use paper straws. Now, thank the good Lord, don't have to deal with paper straws, but the people that do, I feel for them, because whenever you put paper into water, or any liquids for that matter, it immediately soaks it up. So what's happening when you put a paper straw into your cup? Because it doesn't immediately just soak it up. So there's a lining in that. Now we know that in paper cups, hot liquids, minimum, create microplastics. off of the PFAs that is in the liner that is in the cup. So with that being said, you have to assume that the same thing is happening with straws, probably at a higher rate because there's friction going on with a straw being pulled up through it. So again, going to the fact that plastics are being told to us that they're detrimental, blades being made out of plastic, essentially, and 700,000 of them in operation. Now, that doesn't include the 2,000 something odd that are not in operation that are around globally. So those are still sitting, getting the wind whipping through them, causing erosion of the blades and microfibers, microplastics, fiberglass fibers to shed into the wind, shed into the air. Now, we all know, or we should all know by now, that microplastics just don't go away. They don't just evaporate into the ether and disappear. They're going to stick around until they either collect into someone's lungs, into the animal life, plant life, such and so forth. So microplastics are not a good thing to be talking about, and we're talking about 700,000 of them being removed at 8,000 per year because of the erosion being caused. The wind, the sand, the salt of the sea causes enough erosion from the blades, they don't catch the wind, which causes the lift to turn it. They become irrelevant until that blade is fixed and replaced. So there's a growing concern, again, for the use of these. And we'll go into depth on all of the individual parts of it. But I just basically want to talk about the blades today and the growing concern for the recycling of them. Now, again, we are getting some great strides in the recycling process. They have just recently come out with a new process to recycle the blades. They soak it in a solution and it actually breaks down the resin from the fiberglass. Before, they were not as recyclable as we were told, essentially. There's many reports of them being buried in landfills or being cut up into sections and stacked to the side of even on location of said windmill farms. So they don't just rot away like some people might even think. I don't know, completely sure what everybody thinks are happening with these. But obviously they don't. So what are we going to do about them that are sitting in the fields? Now, I understand that they're coming out with the recycling process of going forward, but are they going to go back and remove all those landfill blades and recycle them? That's my question. So I'm curious on your guys' take. This is starting the series. We'll talk about the generator and the infrasound that they cause. We'll talk about all of that little stuff in coming videos. So if you like the material that I'm bringing to the surface, like, subscribe, and share. We'll have some fun with it if we can, but I would like to discuss in all seriousness on what we can do to help the environment, really help the environment, because these are starting to look like they don't actually help the environment. So if you have any suggestions on what we talk about, please let me know. Next week, I would like to discuss soil microbes and why they're the unsung heroes of your garden and the planet in general. And until then, stay grounded, stay safe, always remember those Second Amendment rights within the United States and outside of the United States. Please take care of yourselves the best way that you know how. It's getting crazy out there. And for now, the Potato signing off.